Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was time to go to class. I was just enjoying me a little Herbert Hancock and drinking me a little water and getting ready for class, and I didn't know that you was here. I see you here now, and it's time to dispense with the roll and get right down to business. Ladies and gentlemen, call a friend, text a friend, tell a friend, tweet a friend, tell them Professor Merriweather's back in class. And you don't want to miss this class. I'm coming to you again in black and white with the message truth. So I'm going to give you a little time while we listen to a little bit more of Herbert Hancock to call him and text him and tweet him and tell him come on to class. Professor Merriweather is ready to get started. I am the author of Enough is Enough. Public education has spiraled out of control, and the host of Straight Talk in room 503. And you better believe you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to bring you the message truth this week. Get ready, get set, and let's go. Let's hear the message truth. Let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, if you remembered last week, I impressed upon some of my so-called friends, some clergies, members of the NAACP, members of the Civil Rights community, elected officials, my colleagues, my supporters, if I got any, to join me as we impress upon the powers to be in my hometown. They have closed every school in the black community in my hometown. And if you're smart, you ought to be looking around in your hometown that's doing the same damn thing. And I'm not going to apologize for my language today because I'm not asking for a job. I don't owe anybody anything but the message true. My soul is right with the Lord. I'm eating every day. In fact, I'm eating too much, trying to diet now. So there ain't no reason for me to be nothing but a free man that I am. I don't owe master nothing. And master not going to mess with me because I'm a free man. But I wondered about you all this week. I asked you when Dr. Baxter and I went to the Board of Education and to the new superintendent, and we tried to convince the closing school of Whitehall to be left and given to Reverend Baxter now to develop it. Reverend Baxter came up with the idea of a pre-K school, GED program, and also he wanted to have an adult education program. When I and he talked, lights went on and I added to his proposal, getting tongue-tied. I told him that we have nothing for Too Tall Joan, who is from here. Really and truly has not done a whole lot in this city. But I said we can have a museum where he can have some of his memorabilia and what have you there. Then I also told him that we had Nisha LaSalle, the Queen of Blues, that we could have her memorabilia and a museum for her. That we could also have Jane Superwolf, our first black radio owner, have his memorabilia there. Pamela Marshall, the first anchor person in Jackson, Tennessee. And maybe if the people would allow Professor Merriweather, I'm not looking for no recognition. I'm certainly not pushing myself. But ladies and gentlemen, let the truth be known. I started the first alternative school, been no mention. The first night school, we never had a night school. They said it wouldn't even work. Me and God made a lie out of them on that. Also, we never had a truancy board. I created the first truancy board. And ladies and gentlemen, there are a whole lot of people in Jackson, Tennessee of color who have done some things. Commissioner T.C. Olger, my best friend, a place across town is named after him, but he done some things here. Reverend Isaiah Savage, Reverend W.K. Seals, Genevieve Brooks, ladies and gentlemen, James Buchanan. And it goes on and on. The first black funeral home. Excuse me, not the first black funeral home. But we have had a lot of things done in Jackson that needs our generation to come need to know about it. And I said we can have this black museum and a senior citizen, a place in our community where our people can congregate and we can meet and do some business. And I asked you, the members of Jackson, to call. I didn't say call me. I don't really need your calls. I got God on my side and I'm going to keep on pushing on. I'm really not sure that Reverend Baxter needed. He has God on his side. He's a man of the cause that believe in doing what the Bible say. But I ask you out of courtesy and kindness and for what we're trying to do for your children. Dr. Baxter and I don't have children in the public school system. And so we asked you all, at least I did, to call him and email him, text him. I gave you his number. I gave you his email address to just let him know you behind him. And then in the course of the week, set up some prayers for him. Ladies and gentlemen, check this out. Only one person called to support him. It wasn't members of the religious community that he is with. It wasn't his sorority, his fraternity, excuse me. It wasn't people that he knew and see every day. This hot and Reverend Baxter, Dr. Baxter, how you doing? They didn't come forward. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all right. Dr. Baxter and I are not bothered by this because when God came on the face of earth, they talked about him and they didn't follow him. He only picked 12. And we couldn't even get 12 people in the community to stand up for the children. And you wonder why, my fellow brothers, that you can't get any respect at home. You're not leading at home, and you know darn well you're not leading in the community. You let Mr. Charlie tell you how to run your home, how to run your business, when you can get a few dollars, the whole 9 yards. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thought it was sad. But I want you to know that Dr. Baxter and I have not been deterred by this. We're moving forward and pressing on. So stay with me. I'm going to bring you some more truth. I'm going to pause and give you a chance to call a friend, text a friend, tell a friend, tweet a friend, tell him Professor Merriweather is about to do the same thing he's been doing to tell you the messy truth about what the hell is going on in my hometown and in your hometown as well. Stay with me. So as to kind of paint you the picture of the people that I'm going to be referring to this week, I got to kind of let you know where they're hiding. $250 billion will be cut out of food stamp in the next 10 years by the Republican Donald J. Trump. Stay with me. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Cosby, in my opinion, has done some wrong. But the biggest thing that the good old boys that do not look like me are holding Bill Cosby accountable for is that the young lady was white, or is white. So they came up in a mistrial, a hung jury. Normally, with as many millions of dollars spent, they would have just let it go. But there's no way Master is going to let this go, because this was a Negro man with a Caucasian woman. And it's hearsay because nobody else was there in the room but Bill and the Caucasian lady. Bill did admit that he's done some things, but ladies and gentlemen, look at all the years that have passed. Why didn't the victims come forth then? But ladies and gentlemen, no one is saying anything about all of the killing of black males. Let me get my stuff straight. There are some people who are saying things about our police departments, some of the officers, some of the white officers, because you heard me say before, we got some of the best police force in the country. We got some of the best white police officers, some of the best black police officers, and other nationality. But we also got some rotten apples in the basket that we need to deal with. But when they do, their fellow officers stick with them. Do you believe, and I'm posing a question to you, do you believe that they would stay with them if it was the reverse, a black officer killing white males? Oh, hell no, you don't believe that. But ladies and gentlemen, in February of 2018, they will retry Bill Cosby because he was messing with a white woman. What about all of the people who are holding our black students back and not making sure they have a quality education? Taking our tax dollars and furthering their coffin. And you went to college, went to school, got your theology degree, got your law degree, got your medical degree, got your every kind of else degree. Then you get into education. What did education do for you? If you got to still listen to everything master say. The Indians didn't listen to him. The Indians immediately said, white men speak with forky tongue. Now, that's not true of all white men. Some of my best friends are white. But some of them, the powers that be that are controlling everything. They tried to get the Indians drunk, giving them liquor. No. Black horse does not drink and do that. He have family. He care about his children and the generation to come. They got that. So they turned to the black man. They didn't try the liquor. They tried something different with us. They pumped drugs into our community. And we took on to it, some of us. And now we're destroying each other. The week before 4th of July, 50 people of color shot in Chicago. 4 or 5 died. Then 4th of July weekend, 100 more blacks were shot. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 or 6 died then. 150 blacks in one city in 2 weeks. He pumped that drug down there. Now we in gangs and we're turning our minds. There's just nothing but gang violence everywhere. Man with forky tongue is the one behind all of this. Black folks say don't have no helicopters and jets to bring this drug in. We ain't living up on Castle Hill. But ladies and gentlemen, they've been able to do it because we still got some of those same Negroes today that we had back then. But they couldn't use it on the Indians. They couldn't use it on no other nationality but us. And we pay trillions of dollars every year. And that money flee from our community like a bird flying in the sky. And with all of our education and all of our little jobs, all of our Lexus and Mercedes and Escalades and all of that, they still screwing us. And these are people, these are intelligent people. This is not Nene and Pookie and Bub and Pee Wee. They screwing our big boys too. They not only that, they screwing them in from the pulpit as well. Because they even let them in the pulpit to come during campaign time. And then they leave and go back and wage war against us. And our so-called education hasn't helped us then. Our educated people now. We're not talking Pee-wee. We're not talking hoodlums. We're not talking people in the hood. And they're just as important, just as much as those in the White House, if not more. But we let them do it to us. That's a real tragedy. But this man who is our so-called president, watch this. He's a con man, a liar, a womanizer, a criminal, and have a relationship with Putin of all people. A man that, Putin is a man that believes in Mass incarceration. Where is our community and leaders now, our elected officials? The Republican Party is going along with this unstable fool. And ladies and gentlemen, if they thinking that Mr. Merriweather or Professor Merriweather is going to go along and vote them back in office in 2018, they are lying. The truth ain't with them. I'm a free man and I think free. Maybe a lot of the problem with the students in my class and didn't come to my class, or they don't feel free. They still feel like they're on the plantation and got to do what master say. I don't have to do a damn thing that master say. I'm free. I wish you felt like why don't you stand up and be a man? Maybe your wife will respect you more. Maybe your children will respect you more. Maybe the community will respect you more. That's why that some of our boys join the gang. They want to belong to something. They want to be recognized. And so gang members will take them in. Why can't those of us in the community who's supposed to have some education, why don't we act like we got good sense? You think about it. 71% said Donald Trump tweeting is hurting his agenda. 87% Democrats said it. 75% independents said the tweets are hurting. 53% of the Republicans said the tweets are hurting. But yet, people who live in some of the best communities in Jackson, Tennessee, let me call my hometown first, and yours next. We are allowing certain people who we think are smarter than us. They're not smarter than me. I got my education. I got a good formal education. Went on to college, got a master's degree. The only degree I didn't receive is a doctoral degree, and I could have got that if I wanted, but I chose not to. So you don't get no more educated than me, unless you got a doctoral degree. There ain't that many of them, black or white, got that. And that's not going to make you who you are. You're going to have some common sense. Old folks said mother wit. You're going to have some mother wit. And ladies and gentlemen, and I pray daily that God will crown me with wisdom. That's what our leaders need. Common sense, mother wit, wisdom. But ladies and gentlemen, we backing people who have no interest in our children, and you allowing it to happen. Stay with me. Ladies and gentlemen, watch this. This is in my local paper. As you very well know, our system in my hometown is 65% black. And the majority of our teachers who are teaching our children are of white race. Let me show you what our so-called leaders, our clergy people, our sorority fraternities, our civil rights organization. Ladies and gentlemen, in our paper, I want to bring this close to the camera that you can see it. This is a couple who is getting married. And ladies and gentlemen, let me read it, just a little bit of it, if you don't mind. The engagement and the upcoming marriage of Jill Prince and Eric Prince, they're getting married. And look at this. Jill is a graduate of Trinity Christian Academy. That's one of our private schools in my hometown. She received a master's degree in early childhood. She's coming to teach our children. Let's see about him. He is a graduate of Peabody High School and received his Bachelor of Art in Political Science from the University of Mississippi. He owns and operates Harper's Farm in Trenton, Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. She is currently teaching second grade in Alamo City School System. Ladies and gentlemen, they flee. Let's call it out. The whites flee from our inner city schools and they go to private schools. And then once they get their education, they return to the scene of the crime and teach public education students. Now, am I the only one that's got any mother wit, any common sense? Our schools are not good enough for you to stay there and get your education. But you flee to the private schools, but you bring your butt back in, and we pay you, meaning black folks and white folks. We pay you. You take your money and you spend it in private school. And we turn around and we pay you to replenish your money that you can have your little Megan and your little children to go to private school, to return to the public school and teach our kids, and don't do a good job at that. Some of them. Some of them do a superb job. But as a whole, they don't. Because number one, they don't understand they don't understand us. And it's sure not in the hell going to spend a lot of time trying to figure us out. And we're not addressing the issues. Professor Merriweather come to you each week, and you so ornery and low down, trifling, lazy, ignorant, dumb, that you won't even support my show, my book, Reverend Baxter. You too busy kissing. You know what you're kissing. I don't need to bring it out to you. You smell it and taste it every week, so I don't need to tell you. If this is getting to be a little bit too much for you, click off of the show. But I'm going to keep pushing forward. My friends, the clock on the wall says it's time for me to close this class out. I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to pay particular attention. Open your ears to what I'm about to tell you, because this is like a horror movie. Then we're going to let you go home for the weekend. So let me see if I can wrap this up real briefly. Ladies and gentlemen, in my hometown, and if you look around, it's happening in your hometown as well, because I'm on the phone and I got friends in your hometown and we're talking. Ladies and gentlemen, in my hometown of Jackson, with some so-called educated, important, sedity, elite, I can't even call them, some of them black, I have to call them Negroes, because they got that slave mentality. Now, we have got some blacks in Jackson who's about some business. Reverend Baxter is about one of them, and yours truly make two. And I'll be hard pressed to find a whole lot of more. But listen, we sit back and we let them bring in a group called Vision 2020. And we sit back and we swallow it. Master bought that in. They talked about neighborhood schools, that they want to keep the children in the neighborhood. And we bought that bag of, you fill in the blank. And ladies and gentlemen, that was true. Now, someone tell me why in the hell they closing all of the schools in the minority community, because they don't want to come inside our school. And then when they had a program called Early College High School, and the only way to be able to get the nice white kids to come, they had to put a white principal in our neighborhood right dead off of Royal Street. I like him, don't get me wrong. Don't have anything against Brother Nathan. And I think he's doing a pretty good job. But you mean to tell me you couldn't find nobody black to put in our neighborhood? You put white teachers all in our schools. Why can't the hell we get some guys looking like Merriweather? But we sit quiet on that. Master sure in the hell has given you that 40 acres and the mule. He promised the Indian a lot of things, and they said, oh, hell no. They got their reservation. They don't have anything to do with the man with the forked tongue. They don't marry him. They stay on the reservation. Everything's about their family and their children. What the hell's wrong with my people? But ladies and gentlemen, they closed our predominant black high school, graduate some of the greatest minds of all times. Didn't mean anything to them. The children weren't coming. They said, we're going to just let it deteriorate. And they did. The thing they do is to gradually let it deteriorate. And I've been pointing this out. Go by and look at this building. Go by and look at this building. And they won't listen to me because they used to listen to Master. So they won't listen to Baxter and Meriwether. So, ladies and gentlemen, they closed a historical black school. They closed Washington Douglas, opened it up for about 25 kids to pretend it was open. It's dilapidated. Then they closed Whitehall School. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in our school system, in our neighborhood, that only leaves Whitehall, they only leave Lincoln and Arlington that's in our East Jackson community. And ladies and gentlemen, they're planning on closing that just as soon as they get the chance. And I keep encouraging people to come to board meeting, call your superintendent, call your board members. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to make a prediction. And I want you to follow Professor Meriwether on this, since I don't have much sense in you, the smart one. The name of the game is let the school deteriorate. Don't put the money in there. The money was budgeted. We spend the money, but we don't put it on the school. So my question is, why haven't anyone said why is no one in jail? Do you believe they would let Meriwether take public funds and fail to spend it where it's supposed to be spent and pocket it and elevate my family and I don't go to jail? Come on now, you're not that crazy. They let Whitehall School erode. I told you to go by and look at the mold and mildew. As I speak, they still haven't finished fixing that building up. They neglected Lincoln School, buckets that are in the hall, Lincoln water everywhere. Alexander School, drive by there, it's on Highland, North Highland. Take a look at it and it look like it's a school that's going to stay open. My prediction are, and I could be wrong, I'll come back to you and apologize if I'm wrong. I predict that they're going to close Lincoln next. I predict that. You see, but Brother Meriwether, that we got a new superintendent. He looks like you. And I also ask you to support him. Let him know that you support him. I like him and I support him. I call him, I tell him, and I say anything I can do to further you, advance your advancement, to let me know. Have you done that? I asked him, are the people of color inviting you to their homes like the other races? Are they meeting with you to talk about an agenda? He told me no. So what the hell does our sororities and fraternities and the NAACP, Civil Rights, Code Red, what do we do? Now, Code Red did invite him over, and they did talk. But has there been follow-up meetings? Has there been any commitment? Hello? Ladies and gentlemen, listen. My prediction is that they're going to close Lincoln School. It has a lot, needs thousands and millions of dollars worth of work, just like JCM. Now we have Madison Academic School. It's deteriorating too. That's the school that I used to attend. It was Jackson High at that time. And when integration came about, the white people said, there's no way in hell we're going to give this over to the black community. We're going to create a program where that our teachers would be majority white, the students will be majority white, and we're going to pick the Negro kids that we let in. And that's what they did. So now that building is crumbled, and I can't wait. And I'm watching them real close to see what's going to happen with Madison Academic, where the elite kids go. What would they do with that building? If they move out of that building and tear down that building, that only leaves 2 buildings in our community, and that one wasn't really ours. So, ladies and gentlemen, where are you? Got to get out of here. Where were you with all of your education? With your hands in the air on Sunday, your Bible under your arm, praise God and crying and weeping. God wants you to get up and do something for your people, for his children. You won't do that. It's not important what you do at church. It's important what you do when the benediction is given. What do you do from Monday to Sunday? Not what you do on Sunday. That's a smoke screen. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to conclude this session because I can talk until, as the old saying go, blue in the face. And some of you still not going to get it because you don't want to listen to Professor Meriwether because he's a man of color. You rather listen to Master because he can make things good for you and your family. And he hasn't done it so far. So I want to conclude with this. I want to read to you and allow me to read some cold writing of mine. This is called 3 Types of People. Some are in your life like leaves on a tree. Like leaves, they are there to take what they need. And as soon as they get what they need or it gets cold and the wind blow in life, they're gone. You can't be angry at them because that's just who they are. There are some that come in your life and they're like branches on a tree. They stick around most of the season. But if you go through some storm, and if the storms blow hard, the branches may not be there. Most of the time, the branches will break away when it becomes tough. Although they are stronger than the leaves, you have to test them before you run out on them and put all your weight on the branches in your life. In most cases, they can't handle a lot of weight. But again, you can't get mad at them because that's just who they are. If you can find some people in your life like roots of a tree, then you have found some special. Like roots of a tree, they're hard to find because they are not trying to be seen. Their job is to hold you up, help you to live a strong and healthy life. If you strive, they are happy for you. They stay low key and not let the world know that they are there. If you go through an awful storm, and we all do, they're there to hold you up. Come what may. They nurture you. They feed you. They make sure you get water. Just as a tree has many limbs and leaves, there are few roots. Look at your own life, my fellow students. How many leaves? How many branches? What are you in people's lives? Thank God for your roots in your life. And I pause to thank the many, many people who have served as roots in my life, who helped me be who I am. God gave the roots strength. They gave me strength. And I come to you each week. But ask yourself, who are the leads in your life? Is it the people who are lying to you and promising you all kind of things for our family and our children and not delivering? Is it the limbs that we walk out to them day after day, week after week, year after year, and finding that they cut the limbs and we fall? Or are you holding on to God unchanging grace, who is the roots in our life and who have put strong people in our lives, the Baxter, the Meriwethers, and others who come to you and tell you the truth, and you turn your back on the roots and wonder why you're withering? Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude with this and I'm out of here. Someone opened my back door because I'm on my way through it. If you don't know your own worth and value, then don't expect someone to calculate it for you. If you don't know your worth, you don't know your value, don't expect someone else to calculate it for you. Reverend Baxter, I see you back there in class, and I want to say it publicly. I appreciate your support from day one, and you support me in prayer, in support, and I want you to know that I'm going to stick with you. It ain't over till it's over. But if just you and I have to go, we'll go alone, because when we look around, we'll see that we're not alone. God is walking right with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next week. I hope you wake up and you don't sleep all your life and spend all of your time over at Master Plantation. That you'll come and spend some time with Reverend Baxter and I as we work to make sure our children fare well in the community just like theirs. But ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Morris Merriweather. I hope you join me next week, and if you decide not to, I'm not sure in the hell I want you to come to class anyway, because you're just taking up space and breathing up air that I and some of the students may need. So ladies and gentlemen, call a friend and text a friend and tell them that Merriweather has told the message truth one more time. So ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic week. And remember that in spite of my message, I still love you, because God said love everyone, and you will always be loved by Merriweather. Take care. Have a fantastic week. If I said, for heaven's sake, be blessed. See you then.